Hi guys, the fourth part, the cable management. I know that you video editing, presentation, gaming, and mining rig cable management. How should it go? And nevertheless, the first part for the video editing I already done. I want to stack step one 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 step back and to do it together step by step. First of all, we said we will use the uh, we will actually play with positive and negative pressure inside the case, and the radiator that you see over here has the two fans that actually make negative pressure sucking the air from the radiator, and those outside on the case will actually making pressure on the radiator. We'll again achieve that positive negative pressure 1 degree Celsius less than normally. I expected that, but we will see while doing it. Let's do it. Cable management is already starting with some sort of chaos. It's a little bit chaotic. Then after step by step going to the right direction. Just the first thing that I noticed in the build, that is possible to use the middle part of the case. Let's say like that. You see it very well, I suppose. Um, Nevertheless, I can bring you in. VR guys also. I think for the VR guys, the best position is over here. And yeah, in the first, in the video 2 and 3, anyway, in the first 2-3 videos, I was installing the water cooling system, and I said that those wires should go on the sides. But then in a cable management process, I saw that it's better to put everything on the left hand side and stick to the left hand side while doing the cable management. Use the hole in the middle to actually connect the motherboard, to connect all the uh, USB 3.0 connector for the 3.0 connector outside. Then the SATA goes here for the hot swap for those two. Those actually could be used also not just for the 3.5-inch drives, but also for the SSDs. Just those screws goes in 4 of those, and starting from screwing from the bottom. We'll do that because it's very nice to have a hot swap disks for different purposes: video editing, gaming, mining, and uh, all on the one hand. It's really nice to have. Those I notice are also possible to slide them slightly or completely on the other holes if you have other uh, uh, other requirement from your drive, but those are standard holes. Just for 4 of them. On the other side goes the drive, the SSD. Will be used for SSD because the connector inside in the case are actually here on the bottom provided with those two connectors, and we can show it if I do something like that. Yeah. Now, can you see it inside? I'll put just a little bit down the head of the camera, and now that part inside is actually the connector, and already provide us with the connector for data connection and actual power supply. We actually just join the two connectors on the backend side. That is also one connector. It's connector on the connector. In that way, you have possibility to hot swap the disks. Those connectors on the backend side are actually used for connecting to the motherboard, and I actually use that possibility to strap the to put the cables in the middle, so that the cables from the bottom of the case goes directly on the motherboard or on the middle layer, and that worked perfectly. Now we'll see also if it's working. We have here also the the fake connector for motherboard. It's actually simulating the power. It's a power for the motherboard, but actually simulating the power supply. Just bringing the two pins over there. If you can see it, I don't know. I'll try one more time. Here. Now you can see. Those two metals inside, in those two holes, are actually just providing the power for fans. And we can try that. But anyway, mess. I don't know if that have sense. Let's finish us the build, and then we will see all the necessary parts together. Anyway, pay attention that the USB cable, USB cable is on the crosshair, and it will provide the RGB power. Those other two connectors, one is like on the main the fan one part for temperature control, etc. And those two that I saw, and last time said something about them, could be directly or must be correctly connected to the fans, but fans from the hydro device. That what you call device actually is providing the power for the fans through the USB that are connected that is connected to the head of the water system. The actual power, the complete consumption of the power from the power supply to the water cooler system that runs the pump, that runs actually the whole water cooler system is that cable that goes on the SATA cable. SATA cable provide us also some additional possibility. I'll explain it later. Sometimes you lose the length of the cable, but then you are flexible with extensions. Sometimes make sense, sometimes not. But in this case, while the connector on the for the actual 3.5 or SSD disks that are attached on the bottom of that slider is already here and provide us with the extension to connect the SATA. Then what I've done, because they are all on the left hand side, I put one connector for, or actually just use two connectors on that SATA cable. In that matter, I have just two more for eventual extension that should go like a case extension over here, but over that we'll talk later. Now you should just know that the CPU is over here, also on the left hand side. There are two actually connectors, it's not just one. There are two. They are separate like that, 4 and 4 combination. You just bring them together. Try to form a square from those two, and then starting to jumping in, or just first the first one, your left hand side, right hand side, and just good to go. Just is easier when you put together, because you will avoid to stretch the cable or stress the cable unnecessarily. Anyway, we are going to put that back. It's always good to hear that click sound, something like that. So CPU power for the water cooling system, USB that runs the RGB and the pump. I must double check it, but I think that run both of them, and then the power that run the whole system together, or actually stabilize the whole run. RGB and the pump. Anyway, both of them are providing the necessary power, and we'll put them all together, something like that. Because here is also attached to that controller over there, in that manner, using one of those. And now we have one possibility over here, or just slide them into the hole, because we have here a really nice space to store everything we want. We can, for the moment, use just some of those, just normal wires, bring them together, tie them together to have some overall look. Then after, but try to remember what is connected with what, to potentially that you use that as steps to reproduce for your own build. Then after, those are also the fence, but from the outside, those ones. Also same story, just I use the bottom part of the plate to navigate the fan wire on the right hand side under, and the left hand side from the hole directly here. Now, as you can see, we can bring them also together, and if I'm doing that super right, so we have one connector here and additional two over here. Then I will suggest to bring all the three connectors together. Actually, it's already done in that manner. So those three connectors together, if we need them, they are immediately available. So, and then the rest that is not used, just wrap so around the last part of the band wires, something like that. Then after those one, avoid to stretch too much. So yes, those could be also making a spiral. So till over here, it would be enough. So something like that. The same story, we make some nice circles with the normal wire. Just so. Additional a wire. Then after, we could bring both of them together, and finally stretch them really with the yes, with the real thing, and also bring together those wires, but we will see for them. Now I'll try to put it like that way. Okay, I will actually use the hole that is provided for the cable management. Anyway, I see that way. Probably it's used in all other possible ways and modes, but it is really handy to have something like that on the sides. I can also grab the rest of the wires. Yes, the rest of the wires that are those two fans from Crosshair, and they go all together. But we'll start. I'll put them down. We'll just start with a little, just a little, like cycle here, to actually then fill the complete cycle with wires, just to avoid to make some mistake, because before we stretch completely or actually fix completely the wires. No. I'm not super satisfied with the combination, but it will always indicate me that it's about 3 connectors, power connectors that are not SATA, that are not, that are 2 of them are SATA, but all the others normal. They are normal, or old power supplies, and the fence. No, that one will slide down. I will wait the day slide down. Those wires slide down when we mount the radiator. Now, yeah, that is really now nice. I want to obtain the straight lines in any way. Anyway, on the whole build, I already set those in the middle for the graphic cards, both of them, and for the power. Then we'll actually starting to put things together. That one goes on the other side. So, first is in, then after CPU is already in, just to double check one more time, both of pins are inside. The power that goes here, the USB power for the crosshair, and the power for the button that runs the pump. That's already set. I was avoiding the straight line over there because they are here. We'll have the graphic cards. I'll put it on the bottom, but just avoiding to touch the RAM, and then actually turn all down what is possible to turn down, because this case is reachable from all the sides. You can decide also to do it from the bottom, finding the right one, and push it a little bit on the bottom, because you should imagine that goes the radiator, the graphic cards, and nothing should be on the way of those. In that matter, I'll put it down. So those are SATA cables that are already preset. Also down, everything down, just the VGA goes upstairs. Then those power supplies on the right hand side, and then sorry, guys, the batteries. I already put on the right hand side this SATA cable that is like the secondary just like a labeling is a primary, SATA is over here, and on the right hand side is the secondary. On the secondary we go those whole disk or hard disks that you are using like permanent storage, and in any case they would be a hot swap disk, just plain storage. I provide the cable over there, and while those SATA are over here, uh, it will be nice that you already know if you are planning to install the archive disks or disk for archive or permanent storage, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, the old displays, that you actually put also the SATA cable over here, just in time to avoid then some problems with the cable because the graphic cards is inside, etc. And the turbo U2 U.2 VR and so on. Now, uh, anyway, you get the idea. I will turn to you back when I'm done with the screwing. Just to avoid that you painfully see me screwing the things, I will do that for you. Uh, just that you know that we separate those cables. Those will go in stretch lines, and overall look should be square. Anyway, the bottom, the middle, the top side, all wires together. I just avoid to completely stretch the hole because I will probably make a slide movements around the cables 1 to 3 centimeters depending on the radiator, but we will see that in the next video. Have a great night. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will talk to you later.